Today we're going to be talking about 5 steps to getting a football scholarship. Now, step number 1 is going to be getting a varsity football highlight tape. Guys, college coaches care about one thing and one thing only, your varsity highlight film. So a lot of people will think, well, coach, I have freshman film, I have JV film, is that enough? No. College coaches want to see what you could do at the highest level of high school football, and that is varsity ball. They don't care about 7-on-7 film. They don't care what you could do at camps and t-shirt and shorts. You might perform really well at a camp, and that might catch a couple coaches' eye, but they're ultimately going to ask you, hey, do you have film? Could you send us your huddle highlight tape? So that should be your number 1 priority. If you don't have varsity film yet, should you worry about the recruiting process? Yeah, there are some things you could do to get started that we'll cover in this video, but your primary goal needs to be getting bigger, faster, stronger, improving your skills so you get a varsity highlight tape. Now, again, another misconception is that people think college coaches care about stats. Guys, you could be playing on a team full of superstars, and every single week you guys play a bunch of bums, and you could literally put up crazy stats, but it doesn't show that on the film. The film does not lie. Like, let's say I'm a quarterback, and let's say I'm on a team, bunch of 4-star receivers, and then I'm playing a team that's a bunch of scrubs. I could just throw bubble screens all day long and pass for 300 yards. Yeah, on paper it looks good. I passed for 300 yards, but I didn't do anything. I'm just throwing bubble screens. So guys, your film is the most important asset that you have in the recruiting process. Now, when you get that varsity highlight tape, what should you do with it? Why is that important? And that means you need to get that varsity highlight tape out to college coaches through the app X, or formerly known as Twitter. College coaches do probably, I would say, 95% of their recruiting that's not out on the road visiting high schools through the app X. Not Instagram, not TikTok, not YouTube. They do it on X. Now, regardless of your opinions on the app, it's a business move. You need to have a profile. It's almost like setting up a LinkedIn account when you're trying to get a job or whatever the case may be, because like your employer, a college coach, is using that app actively searching for recruits. So how does that tie into your highlight tape? When you make this X account, keep it professional. Your username should be your name. You can make a private account. You don't even need to make a public account, but you make the account and your username should be your name. Profile picture should be some type of picture of you in a football environment. In your bio, it should be your graduating class, your position, and again, a marketable attribute about yourself. So if that's not your height and weight, don't include your height and weight, but maybe let's say you have a good 40 time, or maybe you were first team all league, put that in your bio. Then what you want to do is you want to post your huddle highlight tape as the pinned tweet on your X account. So you could literally pin something to where it's the first thing that people will see when they come to your account. So you pin that, and then what you want to do is you want to proceed to follow college coaches and message college coaches through that app. So how do you find them? What you do is you go to, like, let's say for example, USC, right? University of Southern California. What you do on Twitter, on X, is you search up USC football, and then you go to that account, and you don't go to who their followers are, because there's hundreds of thousands. You click on who that account is following, and then you scroll through there, and there's going to be a list of coaches. So you want to follow your position coach or somebody called the recruiting coordinator for your region of the country. College coaches don't send the receiver coach to all 50 states to recruit receivers from all 50 states. What they do is they send one coach to a state, a single state, to recruit all the positions, and then he reports back. So usually in their bio to say recruiting coordinator Midwest, recruiting coordinator Florida, etc. That's who you want to follow along with your position coach. Then what you want to do is you want to message them. Shoot them a message, and we're going to talk about what messages you should send them and how to get a response throughout the course of this video, but that's how the process starts, and that's when you can start getting your highlight tape in front of those coaches. Now, every year, parents will waste thousands of dollars, and athletes will waste thousands of dollars on certain recruiting services or recruiting agencies that will help their kid get exposure. And it's one of the biggest scams in the entire football world, because these people don't care about your kids. They don't actually care about your son getting better. They won't tell your son that he needs to get faster, bigger, stronger to be able to play at the collegiate level. They will just take your money with all these empty promises of, oh, we're going to get him exposure and help him get looked at. So guys, if you want to avoid that and you want to learn about the actual recruiting process from a college coach's lens, how college coaches actively recruit people, and what's the real recruiting process, check out that very first link in the description below for our ultimate college football recruiting guide. It's an hour-long video with literally everything that you need to know about the recruiting process, how you can set up your X account, how you can get recruited out of a small town, how you can get offers if you play on a bad team. We cover literally every single basis of the process the right way. So check out that very first link in the description below, you guys, if you're interested in that and you want to get help recruiting this offseason. Now, step number 3 is going to be attending college camps to help you in the recruiting process to get a scholarship offer. Now, let's talk about this. Let's refer back to the X account that we talked about. Remember I said you want to message college coaches, you want to reach out to them, you want to follow them, but what do you exactly say? You don't want to hit them with a bunch of spam messages like, hey coach, up and coming class of 2025, watch my film, because they get thousands of those messages. How you can stand out is by asking them a question. You're more likely to get a response when you ask somebody a question. That's just anything in life. That's an email, that's a text message. If you ask a question and it's a simple question that they can respond to quickly, you're more likely to get a response. So the best question to ask them, do you have any camps coming up? I'm telling you right now, guys, these colleges, especially the smaller colleges, rely on camps to pay their coaches in the summer, because coaches in the summer work off of a stipend, which is a single-time fee, and it's not the biggest thing in the world. If they have a couple big camps, then the check is a little bit bigger, but that is how they pay their coaches. So they want to try to get as many kids as they can to the camp. Now, you might be thinking, well, I don't want to just get invited to some camp where I'm just another number of these people. You're not going for that. You're going to make connections and to build relationships with coaches, and we're going to talk about how you can structure those relationships throughout the rest of this video. But you're going to camps to meet people and to build a contact list, because let's say that college coach, say you're a receiver, and the receiver coach texts you, hey, we have a camp this day, you should check it out. Okay, cool, you go to that camp. Maybe before the camp, you text him, hey coach, come to your camp, thanks again. You go to the camp, maybe you perform really well. He doesn't even have to respond to your first message, but you perform well. Then after the camp, you shake his hand, thank him for his time, say you've been talking to him on Twitter, then you shoot him a message after the camp on Twitter. And then maybe the following year you get some film, and that's a contact that you could send your film to. Guys, the recruiting process is all about relationships, and you want to go to camps to build relationships. It's insanely hard to show up to a camp with 200 people and stand out and land an offer on the spot, but you can meet a bunch of coaches that will help you out later on in the recruiting process. Now, step number 4 is going to be structuring a mid-season highlight tape or a full season highlight tape the following year. So remember I said you go to that college camp, and then what do you have? You have a contact with that coach that you could send your film to from the next year. So let's say the next year hits. Let's say you were a freshman, you were going to those college camps, and now you're a sophomore. You're getting your first opportunity on varsity, and you have varsity film. After the first, let's say you have a 10-game season. After the first 5 games of your season, what you want to do is you want to make something called a mid-season highlight tape. So that's your best place from the first 5 games. You make that tape literally right after your 5th game. That's Saturday after your game on Friday, you should have the tape made. And what you want to do is you want to send that tape to the contacts that you've made in the off season, just to stay relevant. Maybe they check it out, maybe they take a look at it, because college coaches never stop at the recruiting process. So you send them that mid-season tape, and then maybe that catches their eye. Maybe you become a prospect for them. Then after the next 5 games, it'll be a 10-game season. After your 10-game season, or maybe you have a run in the playoffs, whenever that ends, you need to make a full season highlight tape. And that full season highlight tape, you should get out to those college coaches before something called the contact period. The contact period is when college coaches start the recruiting process the next year, and they already have their prospects that they want to check out. They have needs for positions, like maybe they're looking for a receiver, and that's when these coaches will fly out to different schools. That contact period is right after you get back from Christmas or winter break. So when you get back from that, that's when college coaches come to your school. So you want to make sure that you get your mid-season and full season tape to them before that contact period, so they potentially could come to your school, and that's when you could ultimately land the first offer. But there's a lot more that goes into it after you receive that first offer. Now, when you receive that first offer, there is one specific question that you need to ask that college coach. Coach, is this a committable offer? So there's 2 types of scholarship offers that not a lot of people know about. You see it on social media, the 8th graders, the freshmen, the 10th graders, they'll post it, oh, blessed to receive this offer, blessed to receive that offer. 99% of all offers are something called non-committable offers. So non-committable is exactly how it sounds. When a school gives you a scholarship and you intend to go to that school, you commit to that school. And that commitment serves that, okay, they're not going to recruit any other positions for your position. So let's say a coach wants to sign a receiver in the upcoming recruiting class, and that receiver gets a committable offer and he commits. That's his guy. He's not going to recruit anybody else because now he has that commit. So how the recruiting process works, guys, is let's say I'm a coach and I want to recruit a receiver. I don't have unlimited funds. Scholarships are not unlimited. That's what a lot of people think. A lot of people think because these universities have so much money that they can just give out scholarships to anybody. It's not how it works. They will probably sign on scholarship maybe 12 to 15 players in a recruiting class, and that's shooting high, by the way. So let's say they want to recruit a receiver, and let's say there are 10 receivers that they want. The first 1, 2, 3, 4 ranked, right? So let's say they have top 3 receivers. They'd be happy with any one of those 3. That's their number 1 priority. Let's say they offer number 1, offer number 2, offer number 3. Those are all committable offers. So let's say number 2 wants to commit. Okay, cool, bam. But they will still give a scholarship offer to offers 4, 5, 6, all the way down to 10. But if let's say a recruit who's ranked number 7 wants to commit, he can't, because it's a non-committable offer. They're like, hey, you're kind of a backup plan. We want 1 through 3, and then if we don't get 1 through 3, 4, 5, and 6, that turns into our committable offer. So a non-committable can turn into a committable, but it's unlikely, guys. Usually those first 3 recruits top on their priority list is who they go with. So why is this important to know? Why do you need to ask that? Because you need to understand if a school is actually legitimately interested in you, and it makes sure that you keep working and you don't get too big for your britches. You don't think your head's too big. Because let's say I talk to a coach, hey coach, this is a committable offer. No, I automatically know I'm not one of his top guys. Does that mean I may not end up going to that school? No, you could still end up going there, but you're not a top priority. If a school gives you a committable offer, especially in today's recruiting climate with the transfer portal, how many guys are transferring, JUCO players getting recruited, I suggest you commit as early as possible. Don't rush any decisions, but if you get a committable offer, you are high on their board, they want you, and that's when you should ultimately commit. So you need to know that before you make any decisions, before you bank on any team having a scholarship offer with you, because again, I've seen tons of players think that they have an offer, and then at the end of the year, they end up with 0, and they have to go to a JUCO, they maybe stop playing, they maybe go to a smaller division school, simply because, and there's nothing wrong with JUCO or smaller division, but they thought they had an offer that was truly non-committable.